Hi Sagis, welcome back to Sagittarius Tarot and another daily reading. Today we are the 12th of March 2024. That's 12 plus 3 plus 2024 equals 14. And 14 is one of these karmic numbers that holds a lot of power in it. Today's reading is going to be phenomenal because of that, because 14 really resonates further away, and it's a combination of number 1 and 4. 1 is creation, the seed and all that, and 4 is stability, security. And so the 1 and 4 gathers the quality of these two energies, and it gives you a very dynamic energy. And so this reading is going to be exploring that dynamic energy that suddenly is going to come at your life and just sweep you off your feet, right? It sort of reminds me of nature's, if you observe nature, right? There's that saying that it's the calm before the storm, something like that. So in nature, sometimes you can see how everything is calm, the lake, the forest and all that. And suddenly, let's say you see the birds flying or something happens, whatever, and suddenly you get, that dynamic energy manifesting, whether this is a snowstorm, major rain, cyclone, earthquake, volcano, tornado, anything, right? When Mother Nature just shows its glory, everyone's just scared, because that's how much power it has. And that's sort of the analogy here that I'm feeling for you, that all of a sudden, where everything seems stale and calm and nothing's going on, all of a sudden something's gonna happen and news is gonna start flying at you, or opportunity or something, or you're gonna have a burst of energy or a boost of energy, internally or externally, something is happening, right? And as I was thinking about all of this, I got this download of an image of an angel that is literally has fire over its wings, and it's how do you call it, cutting with its sword through dimensions, as if it's literally going from one dimension to another. And for me, that represents, because of the sword, that represents for me, first of all, the power of your mind, and also because of the fire wings, and because of the trail that angel's leaving. This tells me that this is talking about the love and the wisdom that you can infuse your thoughts and the world with. And so by embracing love, and by tapping into the wisdom that you have, and by using the power of your mind, you can literally improve so much your manifestations, up to a point where you're gonna create amazing results, because positive thoughts create positive results. And so I see you here using that power of your mind and literally taking yourself from one dimension to another. You're gonna be in a place where you thought you never were. Whether this is you are changing your school of thought, right? From one school of thought to another, from one country to another, from one culture to another, from one religion to another, from one university to another, from one job to another, from one industry to another, from one person to another, but for me it feels really a big magnitude. This is happening it's a big scale when it comes okay, scale is relative, but it's going to feel for you as if it's very big scale for you. It's not something common, right? This is a major moment in your life. And I want you to remember that the period that was before this maybe was characterized with a lot of stagnation or silence, or something where you felt as if you're talking alone, as if the universe is not mirroring what you're talking about, or as if you're just alone, or whatever it is. But I want you to remember that everything that is created comes out of silence, And that is the moment. And believe me, when this wave of dynamic energy is going to just swoop in, you're gonna look at that silent period and be more grateful. Be more grateful. Not that what's gonna happen is bad. No, not at all. But I'm just saying, because sometimes, you get agitated because of the silence, or because of what is supposedly looking like stale or stagnant energy, but it's actually the calm before the storm. Sometimes life just gives you these pauses, and you should always just think about them, that they are literally pauses for you to recharge. They are not like pauses where nothing is going on, right? That storm, that volcano, that earthquake, whatever was happening at the bottom of the earth, you didn't see it yet. Once you start hearing the noises, you know that, it's looming, it's coming. And that's how it's going to feel with your life. Okay, now, before we start picking these cards, I already, to illustrate for you a little bit about the energy that I felt that this reading will be holding, I picked for you 2 cards. One from the Rider-Waite Tarot, and it is the Strength card. And this is going to be talking about literally like the immense, immeasurable strength that you have, as much as gentle, as much as soft, and as much as sensitive. You have amazing skill, and you have amazing endurance, and you have like infinite potential. You see that infinite symbol? You have infinite potential. And so the Strength card talks about all that raw passion, all that raw energy in you and in the world around you. You are so skillful that you're able to, tame the beast and tame that energy and channel it and express it in a positive expression, right? Because sometimes like raw energies can be sculpted or can be transmuted in different ways. And so that is where your uniqueness comes, because you're able to take that raw passion and channel it and express it in a very positive and constructive and impactful and everlasting way. And that is beautiful. That's also number 8, number transformation. That is talking about the transformation. You're about to tame the beast, Sagittarius. Now, if we look at the other card that I picked for you to illustrate all of this also, it's from the Psychic Tarot, and I was inclined to pick that card. And it talks about moving on, because I feel that you are ready finally to move on from the dead leaves and to embrace a new chapter of green leaves. You are finally, stepping into your power, and now you can definitely like set your goals in order to secure a more positive future, right? We're talking about a lot of positive thoughts here and positive manifestations. And you see these leaves, how they're like flying, as if, how like sometimes before a tornado or cyclone or whatever, like you can start to feel like in the air and in the wind, like things are flying in sort of like a pattern way before everything just happens. And once that event, right? Once that catastrophic or crazy event, like let's say, passes, nothing is the same afterwards. Like the new chapter is like, that's how much, it's different. You know how sometimes like these catastrophes change like coasts, entire coasts or entire cities or whatever. And even if people end up rebuilding them or whatever, they will never be the exact same as before. And that's how I see you with your life, like moving on finally to another phase, or I'm not gonna call it even phase, to another dimension, because literally it is not going to, like, I want to give it more importance. It's not going to look like the previous one at all. And it is all thanks to the power of your mind. By infusing it and infusing your thoughts with positive thoughts and with love and with wisdom, you will be improving your manifestations. You will be creating positive results. Everything that is going to be created, remember, is is coming out thanks to that previous silence, and you're gonna have the strength to transmute it all, and you will be able to set goals and secure a more positive future. Now, on to the reading. You're gonna love this reading. This is a very, very different reading. Today, I'm inclined to do for you a timeline reading. I hope you're gonna love it. I'm so excited for it. So we're gonna use 3 decks, but we're gonna use this deck twice, once this one, and this deck twice. We're gonna pick 3 cards each time to talk about previous, current, and future. We're gonna start with the week, okay? Like last week, this week, next week. Afterwards, I'm going to be picking for you what was happening last month, this month, next month. Then it's going to be last year, this year, next year. Exciting, isn't it? Then it's decade, last decade, this decade, next decade, and finally and eventually overall past, present, future energy for all your life direction. Whew, interesting and intense. I love it. I love it. You know, with all this dynamic energy and with all that, whoo, like crazy, like energetic current, we gotta do something that's as magnificent. So let's see first, like what was going on last week, right? When it comes to the energy for you. Okay. And so last week, you were at the energy, with the energy of the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands talks about the potential, the seed for a new chapter, right? How exciting. The seed for a new chapter. But with the Ace of Wands, of course, this is talking about the idea, the potential. If you don't do anything with it, it just remains as it is, right? It is just literally like something was born, and you must have felt last week at some point that there was like an energy shift somewhere inside of you, right? Or around you, if you're really observant, and that is indicating the birth of a new energetic chapter for you. This is like the phallus symbol, and energy is like sex. It is wands is sex, it's energy, it's fire, it's adventure, it's everything, right? It's creative energy. And so whether this is talking about you may be having an idea, or someone shared with you, like let's say their idea about a creative project that inspired you to do yours, whether this is you having a download in a dream, whether this is you stumbling upon something that inspired you, whether this is like you feeling a shift all of a sudden that you were more motivated finally to do something, whether this is like an idea of, I don't know, having a baby, whether this is talking about, it's just, you know, it is a seed, and you can see like that the castle there is still in outlines, like it didn't manifest yet. Things are just, you know, about to, but you got this energy download from the universe that is, you know, helping you. This was probably like Archangel Michael, like handing you this. Now let's see this week's, right, energy. How that energy like developed. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful transition and transformation. So the energy of last week transformed into this week. You remember, like we were talking about dynamism and dynamic. And what's more dynamic than the Knight of Wands? The Knight of Wands is talking about embodying literally like the Sagittarius spirit, galloping into adventure. You are moving forward with everything regarding that idea. You are applying things. Maybe sometimes you're going too hasty or hastily. Maybe you're being spontaneous. Maybe you're taking risks. Maybe some of them will pan out, others don't. But how will you learn, and how will you overcome obstacles, and how will you reach the end of the adventure, right? If you don't start doing. And that's what I see you doing this week, is doing it, right? Doing it. Just, I think you were just reached the stage where you were just fed up with those dead leaves anymore. and you felt that you had all that raw energy like hanging out, and it was time for you to just start doing and start applying and start marching forward. How glorious, Sagittarius, how glorious. Let's see how all of this is going to develop next week. Let's see what shall happen next week. Nice, nice. How beautiful is all of this, right? First, bottom of the deck is the Two of Wands. We're going to put it on the side, talk about it later at the end of the reading. And so, with the Justice card next week, this is talking about a karmic development. Here is like you are the deliberate creator, making these choices and manifesting. Next week, something that is within your energy or environment is going to happen that is outside of your control probably, but it will be to your benefit because justice will feel served. It's going to feel like justice has been served. You see the sword? I was talking about the download that I received about like Archangel Michael holding the sword and cutting from one dimension to another. So maybe this is the intervention of the universe. Something is going to happen next week. Like remember these words, right? Something is going to happen next week where you're going to feel that the sword of justice, the sword of Archangel Michael, the sword of the universe, something, right? This could be your ideas that you got a download that you didn't even feel it came from you. Like, I don't know why you got that idea and you manifested something, right? Or something that is like maybe a new law that is set to, in your favor, maybe a new court order that is set in your favor. Maybe it's a new adjustment to a law. Maybe this could be involving anything, right? Whether this is involving like any sort of court of justice or even like visas or whatever it is, right? It could be banking system, finances. It could be stuff related to marriage and divorce and alimony and testimony, whatever. And it could be like inheritance, anything that requires literally like the court of justice. And also this is maybe all dues that needed to be paid back, or maybe this is a compensation from the universe for people, you know, who have wronged you or whatever, and so you're gonna get another compensation. Something is going to be amazing. Tap in down the comments whenever this happens to tell me, and let me know if this is where you are at. Because if last week you felt this, and then this week you're applying this, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Beautiful. You see all that red energy? Like there's a lot of oomph in all of this. This is number 12, by the way. This is number 1, that's 13. 13, 3 plus 1 equals 4. And this is 9. 9 and 4 is 13. And 13 is the number of death and rebirth. And it's gonna secure stability because 3 plus 1 equals 4, and 4 is stability. Very, 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 very beautiful. All right. Now, let us see the energy of last month. Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. First of all, look, pyramids, I'm just gonna say that, right? We're not gonna elaborate on that. You fill in the details. Just telling you, pyramids. So whether this has to do with Egypt, Egyptians, pharaohs, pyramids, anything, right? Okay, Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. So again, last month, right, before you got this energy shift in the seed last week, before last month, you were already feeling that your soul is calling you for a lot more than you're currently experiencing. This is feeling like as if you felt last month that whatever existence you have led so far is no longer enough. Even if it was enough, like it is no longer enough. And it's as if you crave for more. First, you can see here like the numbers resembling matrix and stuff like that. So, and the stars. So I think, first of all, you were thirsty for knowledge and education. And we all know, like, once a Saggy feels like they're not learning something new or aspiring to also philosophical notions and idea, they feel dead and stale. And so something was, craving all that last month. Something wanted all that. And so you started feeling like you want to connect more to the stars. You started dreaming a lot of vivid dreams. Maybe also you felt a certain calling or pulled towards following something and doing something. And so that's the original, craving energy. I love it for last month and last week, right? Now let's see this month, the energy. It is unfolding this month, right? So it might have started a little bit, and you can tell with the Knight of Wands energy because it's this week. Or about to, right? If we're at the beginning of the week. And let's see here, like this month, how the energy became, right? Okay. So this month, beautiful, we get the Winter card, take care of your needs. And so this is very fitting because this month, on top of it, is the last month of winter before we go into spring. And this is literally talking about taking stock. And I think this is very important. That's why the card came out in this month energy. Because like I said, since everything that's created comes out of silence, and since I already saw this dynamic swift of energy that's gonna like propel you into literally another dimension, and things are gonna happen so fast, it is very important for you to be recharged before all that happens, because the second things are set in motion, there's no going back. And so I see you here with this card, taking care of your needs. This is like making sure you are well fed, well effed, well slept, well taken care of, well loved, well nurtured, well everything, right? And if you aren't, make sure to focus this month on that. Maybe if you need medical checkups, go for that. If you're being too, because this is also the wolf or the dog or something. So if you're leading a sedentary lifestyle, go out there in the forest, go out there, like walk, especially at night. It's going to help you get downloads. By the way, this is talking last month too, that you were maybe becoming like a night owl, like really staying up too late. And so with this card, like I said, this is about like going out, taking care of your health, doing like outdoors activities. This is also like eating well, resting your mind, resting your body, energetically, like also cleansing from everything that's negative. Connect with loved ones, because these usually love a pack. And so also get your dose of love from your partner or partners, if that's your cup of tea, from your family, from your kids, from your friends, from whatever, right? It is all about taking care of your needs this month. And it is important because, look, I already see you like armors on, right? Unstoppable, going like forward. We got the unstoppable like in the previous reading too. And so, yeah, very, very nice. Let's see next month, right? What is the energy that will carry us through next month? Ooh. This is literally a continuity from the reading that we did yesterday about, the unstoppable one. About breaking over like generational things and like, setting up your own path. Because for next month, I see you already on that trip, because this is talking about the elder, and it says, move beyond ancestral patterns. Like it is time to, I think next month, you would have reached a moment, not that, to hell with your ancestral patterns, not at all, but I think if there was wisdom in them, if whatever it is, you already used all that and you already learned all the lessons needed to be learned. And so in order for you to grow, you need to set yourself apart and start a new pattern, right? In order to excel and exceed your ancestors. And that's how humans grow and evolve, because every generation comes and it takes the lessons from the previous generation and then it acts differently, and so on and on and on and on and on. Very nice. I love it. Right? So already these past week, this week, next week is phenomenal with the seed of the energy, and then you doing everything you can fiercely, like right through, right, everything, and then justice shall be, you know, happen next week, like universal justice, karmic justice for you. And then in the month before, you already started to follow the voice of your soul with the star ancestor last month. You're taking care of your needs this month, and you are moving beyond ancestral patterns next month, because it is time. You have learned all that's needed to be learned from that chapter. Now, let's see like the back of the deck. It's stay rooted and grounded. We're gonna look at that at the end. We're gonna put it next to the Two of Wands. Next is the years. Now we're gonna see the energy of last year, 2023, the energy of this year, 2024. Of course, like March, right? Like March 2023 to March 2024, March 2024 to March 2025, March 2025 to March 2026. All right. So let us look at the years energy. Now let's see from today and a year back, what was the main energy for you? It was the Queen of Swords in reverse. And I think this was like a major healing of thoughts card and changing perspective card, because in this deck, in the Deviant Moon Tarot deck, the Queen of Swords, whenever it is not in reverse, it talks about, you know, this queen that is, you know, a little bit crying. She's still traumatized. She's still, she's victorious, but she's like, how to call it, like wounded and scarred from the battles, and she feels lonely. You can already still see the blood dripping from her sword after the battle. There's like still some bloodshed here. She's alone in this forest. She doesn't look too happy about it. So especially in this card, when it's reversed, this is telling me that you have spent last year healing from that, feeling, you know, the most important part of the year before was for you to be able to change perspective and heal and lean on other people and lean on energy and lean on the universe and trust the process and trust the divine and trust everything. And it was, the whole point of it was like to heal yourself from all these limiting beliefs, from all this mental loneliness, and for you to be able to develop a new perspective, I think. And this is what will help you next month to move beyond ancestral patterns, right? Very nice. Now let us see this year. What is your energy, my dear Saggies? How exciting is this reading, right? I love it. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Ten of Swords, the end. And so that's why you need to take care of your needs, move beyond patterns and all of that. I think this is the end, right? This year. This person is like in a wooden coffin box, being pierced by all these swords, which represent ideas, right? Thoughts that are keeping you stuck or keeping you in this coffin. All you need to do is to like take them out one at a time to be able to leave this wooden box and expand, because you can see already like it has this fetus position or whatever, like you're really cramped up on yourself and you have a bigger potential. So I think the main focus for this year is for you to first and foremost, because this did not come like reversed. Well, first and foremost, this is going to end, right? Something is going to feel like an end, maybe a bittersweet also like moment. It might be uncomfortable, right? Because sometimes also, even when you're stuck, not only it's uncomfortable, sometimes even taking out these swords from a wound is uncomfortable, right? So overcoming all these old ideas, all these ancestral patterns that used to put you in a box, is not going to be easy, but you will be successful by releasing yourself and freeing yourself. Finally. How gorgeous, like that, this is it, right? And I think also this year is going to feel like, you know, if this is rock bottom, the only way is up, because there's nothing deeper than the Ten of Swords when it comes to the mind, right? This is the ultimate stuck phase. Afterwards, you're only going to get better and free yourself a little bit by little bit. So that's a very interesting and crucial year, because that means this sets the tone for 2025 to be stellar. Nice. You see how like in the weekly it was like more fiery energy, and here it was more about your connection to the universe and all of that in the monthly. And now in the yearly so far, it's all about the mind, which means your biggest enemy is yourself. The only enemy you have is yourself, is your mind with your thoughts. And that's why today's reading was focusing on positive thoughts create positive results. These swords will, you know, remove themselves. I infuse my thoughts with love, which improves my manifestations. Again, now you can set your goals to secure a more positive future, and you will move on, and you will have the strength to transmute all that energy, because these swords, you're using them to stick yourself and be stuck in one place. These are raw energy. This is passion. This is just raw stuff. So when you're learning that you have infinite potential and you're learning how to transmute them, you're gonna channel them and express them in a different way that'll help you grow and liberate yourself and reach all your goals. Sweet. Now let's look at next year. Ooh, you get the that's the Eight of Wands, right? Yeah, the Eight of Wands, but you get it in reverse. Okay. And so the Eight of Wands usually talks about things happening fast. It talks about news. It talks about a lot of energy coming at you. You see the bird here with the news and all of that. And so taking care of everything. And the fact that it's reversed, like next year, I think that you need a little bit to, like, I don't think it's going to feel overwhelming. That's for sure. I think it's gonna feel like, I don't know why I'm getting this feeling that it's gonna be organic, because I cannot help but feel with the deviant moon tarot deck version of this card that, you know, the lady here is like angry, and she just, one of these wands, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th one is in her hands, and she's using it to cut the other 8. And there's better news coming. And so I think that in this card in particular, and the fact that it came in reverse, that maybe a lot of news or opportunities or whatever, they're going to always, like, I keep on hearing second chance. So a lot of them, before you cut them off, make sure to see if they're gonna lead somewhere. Also, I'm hearing like some things may have delays in answers or in replies or in people taking actions too. That will be to your benefit. And so it's sort of like a divine timing retrograde energy almost. That's how I see it. All right. Bottom of the deck, the strength card again that we got here, but it's in this deck and it's in reverse here. It's interesting. We're going to put it on the side. And now we're going to get back to this deck, and we're going to look at the last decade, this decade, and next decade. I know, right? Like one card is not enough to represent the whole year or whatever. But this is like sort of like an overall look, right? Towards past, present, future. Later on, we might be doing readings that are just focusing specifically on, let's say, 1 year or whatever. But for now, you get the gist, right? And if I do this reading maybe another time, let's say this will be like one aspect of this year or one aspect. And next time I'll explore another aspect, because you cannot, you know, resume the whole year in like one card or one energy. But you get the gist. Now, let's look at, especially like now as we look at decades and lifetime, right? So let's see like one of the prominent energies we're gonna say, right, about the last decades. Woo! Hot shit. 7 of Wands. And so, in reverse though. And so for me, one key word that comes to mind with this is surrender. I think you learned in the last decade to surrender, to stop protecting yourself, to stop trying to control narratives or trying to control things that cannot be controlled, to accept things happening, to accept divine order, to accept events as much as they hurt you or as much as they're successful or whatever. There's a lot of surrenders and trusting the flow that you had to learn through thick and thin. It wasn't easy, right? Throughout the last decade. And also, maybe this is also talking about maybe some people or some energies or some whatever, or situations or circumstances, you also learn not to judge them by the cover, because maybe sometimes you felt like your natural instinct would have been to like fight them off or keep them away or have your walls. And sometimes you were, in certain specific cases, you were surprised in a good way. And so you learn to surrender. Okay, now let's see this decade. Again, it's the Queen of Swords in reverse, but this time it's the Rider-Waite Tarot. And it's interesting because you got it in last year. And this is this decade, which includes last year, right? And so with the Queen of Swords in reverse, this decade have seen you a little bit more serious, because usually when the Queen of Swords is not in reverse, she is funny, she is charismatic, she is, you know, larger than life. She's also very smart and blunt and says the truth and all that, and very good communicative and all that. But the fact that it's like this, because Sagittarius usually are larger than life and they're funny and charismatic and all of that, that doesn't mean in this decade that you weren't at all. But I see you a little bit more serious than your usual self, right? Look back at all the previous decades, you were probably, you know, more like a jokester, or more like an entertainer, or more larger than life, or more funny, or charismatic, or leading. Maybe even you took a step back from leading this decade, where you allowed yourself to follow a little bit more because of that surrender experience, and you let other lead the way. Also, I see you a little bit less in touch this decade with, as much as you were smart, but you started to lean in more towards your intuition rather than your mental faculties. I also see you had to forgive or forget, not necessarily in that order, or maybe forgive and not forget, or maybe forget and not forgive, something along those lines. I see you also, you learned this decade to not always be 100% Sagittarius blunt. You know what that means. Maybe you toned it down a notch, like you took it down a level, maybe 80%, maybe 60%. That's still a lot more than other signs, right? So yeah, you learn to be more diplomatic. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Let's look into the next decade. Exciting. Ooh. Death in reverse. Bottom of the deck, Four of Swords. And so with the Death in reverse for the next decade, this is talking about first of all, an internal death. That is for sure. That means, you know, an old aspect of yourself, an old ideas, old beliefs, inner stuff, you know, everything that's on the inside that might die and be reborn into something new instead of the external circumstances. That's for one. Second, with the death card here in reverse in the next decade, I feel I had a download right now. Wait, where'd that go? Also, I don't know why I'm getting this download. It feels like something related to like late blooming, as if this decade, for you in particular, feels like you didn't, let's say, accomplish last decade. So even though your same generation is at another decade, let's say, or in this one doing other things, you are feeling like a late bloomer and you need to wrap up pending, right, decades before that, to accomplish all of what you wanted, right, before you move on to closing this decade. So it's going to feel a little bit like jet lagged. All right. Now let's see. I'm going to use that one now to see overall, overall life, right? Past, present, future. And then we're gonna look at all the bottom of the decks for extra messages. Whoa, we're at minute 42. That's a long ass reading. Past, Two of Wands, right? Wearing too many hats, energetically, being ambiguous, trying to show two faces. And I think that's why you learn to be even more authentic, more authentic as time flew by. And original and all that, but it's like you had to experience and experiment with all of that in order to, you know where you stand, sort of thing. So this is like talking about experimentation on all levels. You have worn way too many hats in the past, but that was a good thing for you. And in the present, you get the Temperance card, and this is talking about you, Sagittarius. In the present, you are Sagittarius, you are Temperance. And so this is talking about learning how to transmute energy, being more moderate in your approach, and, you know, being tapped in and able to create infinitely and in a more aligned way. And I think with the Temperance here in, like, not in reverse, it's a really, like, you have what it takes, right? Like the universe is by your side in the present moment. And let's see the future. Queen of Cups. And in the future, I see you finally not only achieving, this is bottom of the deck, not only achieving like what do you call it? Not only achieving emotional control and feeling nurtured, but also being able to take all that excess that, you know, whenever your cup runs over, and then nurturing others. All right, now let's look at the bottom of the deck, which is like a very beautiful transition, right? From more authenticity to more balance and moderation to finally emotional control and nurturing and being, you know, playing mother for others. Now let's look at the bottom of the deck. We had two cards for this one because this is the first time we shuffled the cards, and this is the second time we did the bottom of the deck. So this is talking about it's like Two of Wands, right? It was reversed here in the past, and so now in the present you are finally your most authentic self, and you have the world in your hand. The world is your oyster, and you have all these plans, and you're looking at the future and how all the possibilities that you can create, right, with the infinite potential possibilities, but you're still in the safe zone. And so this is why you got with it the Four of Swords in reverse. That means this is not a time to rest on your laurels and recharge and whatever. This is time of action, to actually step out of that terrace, right? And take both wands and go out there, or at least take one of them. Because if you notice here, he has one that is secured against the wall of the veranda, as if like he's leaving one energy, like one leg inside, because he doesn't want to leave his comfort zone, and like one wand on the external. And this is telling you like, just take both and go for it, right? Or just take one and leave that one behind. Sometimes you have to make compromises, sacrifice, but go out there. The world is your oyster. If you stay here, you only have that terrace whereas if you go out, you can have the whole world. How poetic is this? So this is a time for action. This is not a time for, you know, resting. And if we look at this bottom of the deck in the middle, we have the Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded, but it came in reverse. And so this is telling me, no, you have been rooted and grounded for a whole bunch of your life. For me, this is saying, soar high. Flap your wings, open your wings, and fly effing high. The last one was the Deviant Moon Tarot. We have two bottom of the deck, because also we used the deck twice, once for the first three cards and once for the other three ones, for the yearly and for the life. And so the first time you got the Strength in reverse, and in this one, it's not like in the traditional one, because in this one, like, you feel that the person is exerting a lot of force. There's not a lot of grace into opening the beast's mouth and looking into it, and that is why, and this still has a hold over him, because he's exerting force, not his infinite potential. And the fact that it's reversed is telling me that this means this to me, that's how it feels. And so you're learning to finally use and tap into the energy that isn't obvious, not just physical, not money, not whatever. Like, it's the spiritual power that you have, and the alchemical power that you have with the temperance, and the energetical imprint of you and your mind too, in order to conquer all the beasts in your life. And you get with it the devil, and this is talking about two things. First of all, that you are very passionate about this, that this is your life versus, because devil, as much as it talks about addiction and obsession, sometimes they're like that, it talks about passion. So you have intense passions towards all of this, but that this is also talking that sometimes you might be tempted to using brute force in your life. Now, how is that going to manifest? Like, this is whenever you have power, whenever you have fame, whenever you have clout, whenever you have money, whatever, you know. Now, how and when and what will happen whenever you do succumb to the devil's energy, this is a tale for another day. But yeah. Whoo, what a reading. I love you, my Sagittarius. We're almost at minute 50. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you like this reading. Once you click the like button, you show me that you appreciate my content. Thank you for all your comments down below. I love reading them and connecting with you. If you did not subscribe at this point, please click the subscribe button under this video. You're going to help me a lot. Stay blessed, aligned, and connected. And thank you for sharing my videos. I love you so, so much.